Hi Flosstube, my name is Christy, sometimes known as Sarcygurl. This is Flosstube number 10, and my pronouns are she, her. So how you been? How you doing? Are you doing okay? I hope you're doing okay. Thought I'd pop in and let you know that I'm still alive and, kicking at least a little bit. Kind of half-heartedly. Okay, well, let me show you what I've been up to. It's been almost a year, so there are a few things. Let's get started. So, FFOs. I'm going to start with an ornament. I don't have the ornament, I gave it away, but I'm going to try to post a picture of it right here. This is from the Freebie pattern called Jolly Soul from Teresa Kogut. It was one that she made available during the Jingle Ball. I don't know if it's up on her website anywhere yet or if it was just a Jingle Ball freebie. I'm not sure. I don't really know. So basically the entire pattern was kind of a little bit more, it was wider, it was bigger. So to make it into the ornament, of course, I cut a bunch of it off and kind of moved around some of the bits and bobs, and then to kind of fill in some of the space, I added a few peppermint doodads. That's what we're calling them, peppermint doodads. I think it turned out pretty cute, pretty happy with it. I stitched it on 40 count Swigert that I had hand dyed, and I stitched it from stash, and the main color of the red is Pippi by Roxy Flosco, in case you're interested. That color is, it's a really good, like Pippi is a really good color for kind of a rustic Santa look. It's not like the bright, cheerful, kid Santa red. It's more like the adult red. Maybe that makes sense to you. Maybe it only makes sense to me. I don't know. It's a good red. I like that red. Next up is Moon Tarot by Misfit Stitches. I'm getting some set shadows here. There we go. There's a little less shadows. So this is, like I said, it's Moon Tarot by Misfit Stitches. You can find it in her Etsy shop, which is Stitch Light of the Moon. I stitched it on a 40 count that I hand dyed, and I stitched it as a monochromatic version, and I used Cousin It by Roxy Floss. It's also an excellent color. The frame is one that I thrifted, so I love it. It's so good. She has a few others in the series as well, if you're interested. The moon reminds me of her, so beautiful piece. Love it. I'm gonna say that a lot. Things get a little bit repetitive in this brain, and I can't control that. I have a limited vocabulary to choose from on some of these things. Okay, next up I have Raven's Flower Bowl, which is one that I designed. Again, those shadows. So, I designed it. I stitched it on 40 count putty by Weeks Dye Works. It's another thrifted frame. This one was a lucky find because the piece is kind of an odd size, so this is lucky to find this thrifted frame. So I think these ones were all fancy floss if I remember correctly. It's been a while. This thing up here has become, it's a piece of Swiss cheese. A lot of holes in there these days. Things kind of fall into the holes and then just right back out. So I know the body of this was silk, and I think all the rest of them are fancy flosses of some sort. I can't remember if I hand dyed any of them or not. So, but anyways, yay, it's framed, and I just totally hit myself in the head with this frame. I hope you're laughing with me. Okay, this is my chaos. This is like, there is no way for me to be a more polished version. This is how I exist, just in constant chaos. If you like it, you're gonna like it. If you don't, well, there's plenty of other floss tubes out there, right? I'm not apologizing. Okay. Next up is Autumn Cat by Stitching Land. Oh, I've got an incoming cat. I'm gonna hit pause. Okay, so this one is Autumn Cat by Stitching Land. It is stitched on 40 count old stationery by Seraphim. And it is a mix of DMC and fancy floss from Stash. I think, well, the scarf for sure I stitched in silk because she needed a fancy silk scarf. And these leaves, I really wanted to kind of deepen the tones. Like the DMCs were a little bit bright, so I just wanted something with a little bit more nuance. And so yeah, I just did a hoop finish for her. I'll probably just put a string on here and put it up on a hook on the wall. Haven't fully, like, I might just leave it like this, but I might, if it depends on where I hang it, how much kind of shows through. I have a cap for the back already made, but whether or not I actually need it, I don't know. So I haven't put it on yet. I have cat hair in my nose now. Chaos. Okay, next piece is, there we go. It is called House on Acorn Hill, and it's a Blackbird Designs. I stitched it on a 40 count Zweigart that I hand dyed, and I stitched it with fancy floss from Stash. So I can't remember which ones I used. Don't ask. Swiss cheese brain, remember? Right in, right out. Fell right out. If you look hard enough, you can probably see information falling out of my ears as we speak. The frame is a thrifted one. It's one of these, like, you've probably seen these. It came with this picture in it. Look at this couple. He seems like he's maybe a little bit old for her. But you know, if it worked, it worked. You know, the heart wants what it wants. Maybe he was a good provider. Maybe she felt safe with him. We will not judge. I hope she was happy. I hope he was happy. They look happy. So It also, on top of this picture, it came with like a little kid's drawing. So this frame had been used and then used. And now it's getting used again. All right. Next up is, it's a pattern by the Witchy Stitcher, and it's got kind of like a two-name thing going on, Hearse and Get In Loser. I stitched it on a 40 count that I hand dyed, and I used the called for DMCs. And again, this frame is thrifted. And then I put this little bat fabric in behind, and just like I made this trim as well. So I love it. It makes me giggle. It's macabre. That's kind of how my inner, you don't know it by looking at me because I smile and giggle a lot, but I live kind of in this mindset most of the time. So it's perfect for my wall. I love it. Up next, this is the last FFO that I have. And I was laughing because after I framed it and posted it on Instagram, I noticed that I had forgotten to put in the, like, there's little antennae that, or eyeball stalks that come up from the moths and the butterflies. I completely forgot to put them on. I think it looks fine without. I'm not going to go back in and change it. So this pattern had more on it, but I decided I wanted it to fit into this 8x10 frame. So I cut off a bunch of the stuff on the top. And I stitched it on 40 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works in mostly the suggested DMC conversion. I swapped in Spinach by Roxy Flosco to deepen the green here. And there's like a little bit down here as well. So, and as you can see, it's a spicy pattern. It's got lots of places that are fairly easy to stitch, but once you get down into this part here, it gets a little full of chatter. Some sort of like confetti-esque stuff going on in that part. And so this is why I learned, or I finally downloaded Pattern Keeper. And oh my gosh, I am now a big fan of Pattern Keeper. It just really, like, when you get to the end of the day and your brain is tired, but you want to stitch because it's calming and it's relaxing and it's good. Pattern Keeper I found was a really good way, like, because sometimes the symbols, I don't know if everybody's brain does this. My brain is a little and sometimes the symbols kind of get, like, if they're too much the same, my eye has a hard time with it. It causes me to have to concentrate too hard on it, and my brain is already tired. I don't want to have to concentrate too hard. And so Pattern Keeper, you know, by being able to highlight the symbol that you're working on, the color that you're working in, it really takes that element, that strain, that brain strain out. And I found it very, very helpful for this. And there's a very good chance, like, I will be using it a lot in the future. I highly suggest you try it with any of your PDF patterns and give it a whirl, because wow, it was a game changer. And I know it's been around for a long time. It's just normally I've been a pattern or a paper pattern person. It's not even because I highlight. I don't even highlight usually, but just, yeah, I guess, you know, you get to a certain point in your life and your brain gets a little too Swiss cheesy. You start digging in your toolkit for new tools. We're adding new tools to your toolkit. What else did I have anything else to say about that one? I don't think so. Okay, moving on to finished objects. Made this. Hopefully you can see that without, I don't know. I'll put this in behind. I designed it. It's a mix of fancy floss and DMC. Tried to keep the fancy floss to the things that really kind of benefited from it, but that was a lot. So all the black is a fancy floss, just because 310 is good, but I don't know, there's all kinds of cat hair on there. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, so 310 is good, but there's just something about the little bit of subtlety in shading that comes with a fancy floss. I don't know if you can see it. Shadows might be getting a little too deep for you to see that, but in the moon you can see the nuance of the yellow, and in the tree you can see the nuance of the brown, and I used a fancy floss for that rock as well. And they're not strictly necessary. If you ever decide you want to stitch this, you can use DMC for all of these colors. I don't know if I made any DMC suggestions in the pattern. I can't remember. Swiss cheese. Internet falling out constantly. There's just constant thoughts falling out. Memory's gone. But anyways, I like her. I thought she was cute. So that's my latest. What else do I got going on? So that was my only FO. Oh, one thing, I stitched it on 40 count Stormy Night Newcastle by Zweigart, and I did find, so that is it's a less expensive fabric because it's just kind of like a standard fabric from Zweigart, but it has kind of like vintage country mocha. It has that printed element to it to give it, I don't know if you can see it in this lighting. Oh yeah, I think you can. So it gives it kind of the modeling. So it's printed on there. And I think that kind of was making it grab my floss a little bit more. Kind of might have been fraying it a little bit more. And it just was, I was finding it was wanting to knot a little bit more often. So I ended up getting into the habit of rubbing my floss onto my little block of beeswax. So if you're having your floss knot quite a bit, what you can do is take it first and just kind of run the floss through your fingertips one way and then turn it around and run it through the other way. If you feel a difference, there's one way that tends to be a little bit rougher than the other. I don't know how to explain that. Anyway, I don't know how to explain that. I could show you if you were here. I'm not going to do a separate video for that. Anyways, beeswax helped a lot less knots after I started doing the beeswax. So now I'm just in the habit of rubbing all of my floss on my beeswax. Good habit to get into. It's not expensive to get a little block of beeswax, so highly recommend it. There's these little tricks, like when I was growing up as a kid, I didn't use beeswax, so you know, got back into stitching, I didn't use beeswax, but there's all these little tips and tricks that you learn through the community of stitchers on Instagram and Flosstube that you might not otherwise have known. So, you know, grateful. Thank you to all the people out there with really good ideas and great tips and tricks. Maybe I have taught somebody new today too. I don't know. I'm usually one of those people, because I'm so introverted, that I'm autistic. So I don't talk to many people. Kind of reduces the amount of shared knowledge that I collect. The last one to know everything. Okay. Next up we've got my whips. So I kind of pulled out this, and I'm waffling on whether or not I want to continue with it. I don't really know. It is kind of a start of a mashup of a Hawk Run Hollow piece, and I'll show you this was my little mashup plan, and it's like elements from the Farms of Hawk Run Hollow, as well as I can't remember what the other one's name was. It's one of the other Hawk Run Hollow series. I think it's just from 2 of them. And yeah, so I kind of came up with this concept, and this is the block that I'm working on. But somehow I can never seem to quite get into it, and I don't know why. I don't know what the block is. Maybe currently the block now might be that I can't put the pattern in Pattern Keeper. I don't know. Might be something to do with the colors. I think the DMCs just might not be popping in the richness that I would want. I'm not really sure. I haven't quite figured it out. Sometimes I'll look at it again and I'll go, oh my gosh, I really want to stitch that, and then I usually get stitching on it. I'm like, I can't. So I end up putting it down, and I'll come back to it in, you know, another couple months maybe, and we'll see. We'll figure it out then. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. You don't have to finish what you start. Okay, so the other piece that I started was Coffee and Eggs by the Artsy Housewife, not the Housey Artswife. This one, you've all seen it, I'm sure. She's exploded onto the designer scene for a good reason. She's very talented. I'm not very far. I had to buy the pattern a second time so that I could put it in Pattern Keeper, because I got looking at the pattern and I was just like, my eyeballs are no, it's not, no, not doing it. They would have been fine if I would have forced myself to, but I didn't feel like forcing myself. Pull things out of your toolkit, make things easy for yourself. So that's where I am. I'm really losing my light here. Holy Dinah. Okay. It must be getting cloudy. We've had a lot of rain in Winnipeg this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if we've got more rain coming in. Okay, well, I am stitching the coffee and eggs on 40 count that I hand dyed, and I'm stitching it with the called for floss. So I'll show you a little bit of haul that I have. First thing here is I got a thread bed by Sheba Designs. Look at how cute that is. Cats in witch hats with flowers. Like, yeah, it's perfect. As you can see, I have my floss in it. And this is my new favorite way to keep my floss, by the way. So it's one of these, the little thing for your needle if you want it. So what I do is I just take my ring of flosses and I trap them inside of it. And because my stitchy hugs are shaped the way they are, and it's really easy to pull off a single thread, I don't even have to pull it out of this to access my thread. I just kind of wiggle them apart till I find the floss that I want, and then I just pull a floss straight out. Just, it stays in here. So it'll help keep them from getting into a floss monster. And yeah, I might actually contact her to see if I can get one that is a little bit longer and maybe a little bit wider, so that it'll hold, like, for bigger projects, if there's more floss, it'll hold that a little bit easier, and it'll keep the ends also trapped. So we'll see. But for now, haha, it's great. We've got, this is another little bit of haul that I wanted to show you. And I don't know, this might help. Okay. That'll help a little bit. These are a set of natural dyed flosses by Vera's Stitching Corner. And they're beautiful. I don't know if you saw the full spectrum of them. There's like some greens in there and some like purples, dark gray, light gray. Look how beautiful. I can't wait. I want to find a project that I can use these together on. If I can't find one, I might design one. I don't know, but they're beautiful. Look at them. They're just kind of, she's on Etsy. You can go buy her stuff on Etsy. And I just kind of pulled colors that I thought might look together, and I really lucked out because they actually look good together. Although just the range that is there, it's just so beautiful. And you know, I don't think it was anything to do with me picking them that made them go together. I think they just probably all go together. They're beautiful. I highly recommend them. I haven't stitched with any of them yet, but they feel nice. They don't have like that kind of crispiness of like Weeks Dye Works floss. Highly recommend them. So let me show you some of the other projects I have going on. These are non-cross stitch related. I finished, I don't know if you can see this. It's just like a little beanie kind of cap. You can see the change in the when you have variegated yarn and you start changing the size, it changes the pattern of the variegation quite a bit. You see that on cross stitch too, but maybe not quite as deep of a change as it happens in knitting. Not really sure. So it was just a little cap to keep my bean warm in the winter. Found it very handy, so I decided to make a second one so that, well, I mean, beautiful purple goes with my skin very, very well. Oops, I'm dropping stitches all over the place. I shouldn't play that hard with my knitting. I'm gonna pay for that later. But yeah, so I'm knitting up a second one so that when one's getting washed, I can be wearing one. Because heaven forbid, once you get that feeling of having something on your head all the time, heaven forbid your head go empty for a while. It's quirky. I've been working on socks. I haven't started the second sock yet, but both of these yarns are from Knit Picks. The first hat, this one, I don't think that was a Knit Picks one. I think this one is it's got like a little touch of cashmere in it, so it's nice and soft. I don't remember what it was though. I don't think you guys find that necessarily super important, but this is the yarn from the sock. Okay. I'm just trying to finish this before I completely lose light, which is funny because, I mean, it'll be light here until 9:30 at night. It's just clouds are a little bit unpredictable these days. I decided not to film right in front of my big open windows anymore because I was having problems with my voice ending up sounding weird, like, and muffled or something like that in the videos. And I thought it could be because if I'm sitting in front of the windows, they would be reflecting the sound right back at me and creating like this, I don't know what you would call it, but monkeying with the sound a little bit. So decided to try a different location with a lot more soft surfaces and see if that helps. I don't know. Time will tell. Again, no apologies. So the other project, the last project I'm going to show you today is I've been playing with some Quilt As You Go hexie quilting stuff. And so this was my prototype that I made. I love it. I got my fabrics from Road 17 North Quilt Shop. It's here in Manitoba. And it was nice because I could order them online because I don't like to leave my house because there's people out there. I decided after I did my prototype that doing I really liked the blue as the background. Cat hair, a lot of cat hair. So we decided not to do that. So I pivoted and I decided to go, I forgot about that. I decided to go with this color as the background. Oh no, that cat hair happens to be on the screen. Okay, yes. It's just kind of like a slight off-white with a gold fleck on it. And I'm doing the entire back of my little quilty pieces with that. And I was going to show you this. This is not quilt related. So I was going to show you this in relation to the Kathy Barrick brown fish owl piece. So this is from a 8x10 IKEA frame. And it's like a piece of plexiglass. You'd peel off the protector, and normally you could frame your piece with something covering it. But I don't usually put glass or anything in front of my stitch pieces. So, but I realized this plastic piece is something safe that's 8x10 shaped and sized that I could keep with my stitching, so that when I'm trying to figure out if a piece is going to fit into a frame that is easy to find at any, you know, store where you find frames, like a standard size frame, I could keep this with my stitching so that I, you know, if I was going to aim for an 8x10, I can pull this out, put it on top of my piece, and know where the boundaries are. So it makes it easier if I'm aiming for 8x10 size. So I thought I'd mention it as a tip. If you get IKEA frames, keep the little plasticky thing if you're not going to use it, and it'll help you maybe. Things are falling apart now. Oh, okay, no. Were they ever really together? No. This is what I've been working on. Okay, this is chaos again. It's not fully together yet. I haven't finished sewing this piece together with it yet. But this is kind of the start of making. So my cats lay on things, they get the hair on things. I've found that it is easier to have lots of small, easy to wash things for them to lay on, so that you can just like swap them out every time you're doing a load of laundry. You can grab a couple of, you know, these small things that they're laying on and help keep the cat hair down to a dull roar a little bit. It doesn't, no, it doesn't. I'm covered in cat hair all the time. Does it help? I don't know. But they like laying on things. And I like those things to be easy to wash. So I'm making some. And I'm really loving how it's turning out. I don't know, you can't really see it in its full glory, but it's beautiful. I love it. At least I think it's beautiful. I want to double the size of this and then make, you know, 1 or 2 more. At least. I've got so much. I was new to this, so I just ordered the fabrics that I liked. I ended up with so much fabric. So, don't do that. Anyways, this is the template that I'm using. It's a Daisy and Grace template, Quiltazio template. I guess I'll show you the green side, the pretty side. I haven't peeled off the protector. I don't know why. I don't know why you'd need to peel it off anyway. I guess maybe so you could see through it. I haven't felt the need to see through it though, because I'm not like fussy cutting anything. Anyways, Missouri Star Quilt Co. Imports them into North America. So you can find these online in quilt stores sometimes, I think. So anyway, Missouri Star isn't the only place that carries them. They sell them to other quilting stores across North America, kind of thing. They're just the people who import it, I think. Did you need to know that? I don't know. This is just the stuff that is falling out of my brain, out of the Swiss cheese right now. So I have a stack that are ready to be sewn together. Can you see that spectrum? Does it make you as happy as it makes me? I love it. It's kind of it's chaotic, but it's all the colors that I like, so the chaos makes sense to my brain. I'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea of how it goes. Basically, I started first with cutting a whole bunch of the hexies in the smaller size hexie. And then you cut the larger size hexie out of your back piece, as well as you cut a whole bunch of your batting in the smaller size. And then what I've been doing is I've been glue basting them together. So put a little glue in the center of the back piece, put on my quilt batting, and then another little bit dab of glue in the center of that, and then I put this on so it will hold together a little bit without pins. And then what you do is you fold in this part twice. So first time is to the edge of the small hexie, and then you fold it over. So I don't know if you could see that or make sense. There are some really great tutorials online for how to do this. And then I just, when I'm folding it, I use the quilty clips to keep it in place. And then I go in and I sew all the way around the piece. And then once that's done, you have one of these, which are great as little coasters. Or, oh, that's also covered in cat hair. Good. What's life without a little bit of coating of a cat hair? And then after it's in this place, you have to start sewing the edges together. So you basically face them together and then you sew along the edge, and then you'd have kind of these two together, and then you just kind of add more and more and more. It's really easy. It is a labor of love. It is time consuming. It is, if you're a person who needs finished objects for a sense of productivity in your leisure time, this probably isn't the right fit for you. You can sew them together with a sewing machine. I don't have a sewing machine. I don't know how to use a sewing machine, but I can sew. And I don't personally feel any need to force a sense of productivity into my leisure time. Our culture is kind of sick with the sense of productivity. We think most of the human value, or the most of the value of a human, is in what they can produce, and that's not right. That's capitalism at play, and that's not right. We are worth so much more than what we can produce, and so I try to make sure, because you know, I've been in that place where I thought that you know, even my leisure time had to have an element of productivity to it, and I'm learning to rest because well, I have had no choice. I have to learn to rest, and I have to learn to not force myself to be productive, and that's a hard lesson. I highly recommend you learn it when you're younger than when you're older. And I see a lot of young people have much better boundaries with that kind of stuff. just in how they're approaching work and life and, you know, what they want to get out of living. And I applaud that. I think that's actually really good. I think that I'm proud of whoever is out there teaching them to have better boundaries. I'm grateful to them because, you know, I think that's going to be important. We need to swing back to a place where we don't feel the need to fill every moment of our lives and not take any rest. Rest is important. So take it. Or it will take you. Trust me. Okay, on that note, I'm going to go and do some rest because, you know, autism, talking, this is getting things out of the brain and out of the mouth. It takes a lot of energy. So I'm gonna go rest. Thanks for sitting with me and experiencing my chaos and hopefully laughing with me. And I'm not going to say I'm going to talk to you soon because that's probably a big lie. But I hope you are all taking care of yourselves, and I don't know how to end this, so I just totally blanked. Humaning is hard. Love you, bye!